Hi everyone, this is Carolina and thanks for joining me for another seasonal Saturday. Today I'm going to be showing you how to put this gift card holder together. It's in shape of a prison, added a little sentiment in the middle, and the top pulls out to reveal a gift card. Isn't that fun? I designed it so that the bottom stays intact, and you can actually even sew the bottom together since you're pretty much going to be making a pocket. But for the purposes of this video tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to put it together with double-sided tape since I figured not everybody sews. This way anyone can put it together. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and get started. To make your pocket, you'll need a piece of paper that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You're going to go ahead and fold on the 5 1/2 side so that you'll end up with a 4 1/4 by 2 3/4 pocket. Okay, and then just make sure that you score it really well. And then you're going to go ahead and grab two pieces of, or two different widths of double-sided tape. You'll want the 1/4 inch and the 1/8 inch. The 1/4 inch is what we're going to add to the top and bottom here. This is what we're going to use to keep the ribbon together. Okay, and then the 1/8, you're going to go ahead and put it down the sides, on one of the sides. You don't have to do it on both, but pretty much right really close to the edge as possible. When I sewed it, I used the zigzag stitch, and then I sewed it as close to the edge so that I left enough of the middle open so that that inserts kind of, the top kind of pops in and out or pulls in and out, and you don't have a problem getting stuck, having to get stuck on the sides or not fitting in nicely, because you do want it to kind of be flush to the edge, as you'll see in a second. Go ahead and remove one of the sides. And this is where we're going to go ahead and just adhere our ribbon, close it, and then loop it around. This is why we don't remove both sides at the same time, because if not, then it'd be stuck at this point and you couldn't get it open again. So now that you have that cut to a good width, go ahead and remove it and adhere it down. So basically you'll end up with something like this. And that way the bottom is kind of, it's not taped down, so you can kind of move it around and center it as much as you want. Go ahead and remove those two sides. That way we can put our pocket together and just bring it together and adhere it well. And that's your little pocket. We're pretty much done with it for at this point, and we're going to go ahead and move to the top. Okay, so go ahead and grab another piece of paper that measures 4 1/2 by 4 inches. And this is going to be the inside, the top part that pulls in and out. I'm going to grab a piece of green cardstock just so you can see exactly where my ivory piece is. And actually, let me go ahead and zoom in for you so you can see what I'm measuring here. Okay, and also besides a ruler, you'll need a pencil. I'm going to go ahead and measure 1 1/2 inches down and just add a little mark. And you're going to do this to both sides. And you are working with your 4 1/2 inch side, by the way. Okay, and then just measure 1/2 inch in. Again, I'm going to go ahead and do this to both sides as well. And at this point, you can go ahead and cut in and then just cut all the way down. But I'm going to go ahead and make pencil marks so you know exactly what I'm going to be cutting. So from there, and then align it to the bottom. And basically this whole piece right here, that's going to disappear. You're going to cut it away. So basically you'll end up with something like this. It looks like a T. Okay. And let me zoom out again so that we can kind of see the whole thing, and we're going to be moving to the next step, which is a piece of pattern paper that I cut out, and it's 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. Obviously it covers more than you need to on top, but that's because when you stick it in, you want it to kind of sit on top of that pocket, so it gives that illusion that the whole thing's one piece. Okay, and so that I know that it aligns perfectly, I'm just going to go ahead and turn my pattern piece around our two pieces of double-sided tape, and I'm going to do the same way I adhere my ribbon on the pocket. I'm going to do that to this strip as well. So go ahead and put one piece there, and let me center it here, and then put one piece on top as well. Okay, and then just take one piece of like one side of your ribbon, Adhere it down, making sure again you're centering it. You can lift it at this point and then loop your ribbon around. And go ahead and cut any excess you might have. Okay, and that's pretty much what it's going to look like. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and remove the insert again, that top part of your present. And it's crucial that you don't add glue to the middle there. What you're going to do is add all the way around the sides and not towards that line where your top is going to sit on top of the pocket, because that's going to give that illusion that it's all in one piece when really it isn't. Make sure you're generous with it, and then smooth out your glue so that you don't have any kind of glumps anywhere. Align the top to the top as I'm doing here, and then I like to turn it over to make sure I'm centering it widthwise. Okay, and once it's adhered together, you can go ahead and put it aside and move on to your bows. I went ahead and made some earlier, and here I'm just going to add the sentiment to the middle. And then at this point I can fluff it and make it look pretty, or just go ahead and wait till you have it on. It's really up to you. But we're going to be using it in a couple of steps. There's a couple more things I'd like to do to the pocket part of the present before I add the bow. So again, we're working with the pocket at this point. I'm going to add a strip of ribbon. I'm actually going to tie it in a knot. And one more step to add to that illusion. So just take a strip of the same color ribbon, and you're going to basically bring it around the bottom and to the top and just tie it around, basically tie it in around that pocket, making sure it's even. I think I need a little bit more. Yep, and I think now. So tie it once and then tie it again to make a knot. I'm working with silk ribbon, so it's pretty good about staying put and being able to, you can kind of work with it. But you can go ahead, if you're having a hard time, you can add a little bit of double-sided tape or glue dot, as I'm going to add here, to hold it in place. But you could even have done that from the beginning if that helps you keep it in place. Really up to you. I'm going to bring that down, and then making sure you kind of line it to the edge as much as possible. Flip it over, add a little glue dot there. And since you're working with double-sided tape, that works as well. There's enough layers that will let you hide the glue dot or the tape. Okay, and again, I'm just kind of opening it up so that I'm getting it as close to the edge as possible. And you can do that later on as well, but kind of just want to have it all done. Okay, now can actually, no, before I add the ribbon there, or the bow, let me go ahead and put my gift card on, and then I'm going to actually put the insert inside, because then it's better to just kind of have it all together and then add your bow. So I just used a little bit of this strip. It's kind of like glue dots, but in a strip, I guess is the best way to explain it. But if you don't have that, glue dots work well. So does double-sided tape. So either way, whatever you have that won't interfere with the magnetization of the gift card is perfect. Okay, and then just lift the top so that you don't get it. So it is pretty, I measured it pretty close together so we didn't have any excess. And then put it inside your pocket. And then at this point is where I want to go ahead and add my bow, now that I know. And the best way I'd like to add bow, especially with 3D items, is double-sided tape. And I like to add it not just to the item, but also to my bow. So go ahead and cut a strip. Add it to the middle of just the knot, making sure you don't capture any of the top. And then bring your ribbon, I'm sorry, your bow, add it to the middle of your bow. As such. Okay, and then just remove that backing and then just add it to the knot only. Again, making sure you don't capture any of the top. So with that, you're pretty much done. I like the way it looks. I just wanted you to show you a different option to finishing off the top, and it's really, really simple. It's just rounding off those corners, and I just use my chomper for that. And just for the top corners, I felt like it kind of worked well with the bows being so rounded. It just kind of played into that a little bit more. Go ahead and slip it back into your pocket. And that's it. So hope you have fun making these. And as always, feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much for joining me today and happy holidays to you.